All right, aloha and much shalom to everybody out there. We're going to go over a few things. Today, I'd like to definitely talk about some of the comments that was on there. You know, one of the comments was they called up and they asked for, I guess what they meant was a letter, government information letter from the IRS, and the person got mad at them. You know, you want to be real careful speaking face to face with these people. They are sworn in some kind of occult deal that they can't recognize the living person. So they always speak a living man and woman. So they always pretend like they're speaking to a person. Um, so they're always going to look at you and deal with you as a citizen, especially when you first started getting in this, until you earn your respect, until you go private. All right. So, and there's a little bit to that. Not only is it in paperwork, but it's just in, uh, how much trouble are they going to have to deal with you. They judge that on how much trouble they want to give you. So I'll tell you the story, what happened with me, with the court. I went down to get the parish, the sheriff of Rapides Parish. That's this guy right here. I went down to get his bond. And I went down to the parish. They said, "Oh, no, we don't have the bond. The Secretary of State has a bond." I said, "What?" I said, "Okay." So I went back. It's a 45-minute better drive, over there. And I called up the Secretary of State. I said, "Hey, look, I need the bond for this guy." "Oh, no, we don't have the bond. It's the parish." I said, "Well, hang on." I said, I'm getting conflicting information here. I said, "Why don't you let me speak to one of your attorneys on the, there?" So they put me through to their top attorney, and there with the Secretary of State. And I got her name, and I got her direct number, because I told her, I said, "Look, I'm going back down there." I said, "I'd like to have your direct number so I can call." I said, "I'm going to be down there in about maybe 15 or about 45 minutes, an hour and a half." And I said, "I may have to call you from there." She goes, "Okay, no problem." She gave me the number. And, you want to speak, I talk a little smack on here just for, this and that, because some people deserve to have smack talk to them. Some people deserve to have respect. People that deserve to have respect, give them respect. You don't have to disrespect everybody. What you're going to find is, once you start getting into really where you know what you're doing, you're gonna want to work with these people to a certain degree. Now, if some of these people are just out of hand or just out of control, then you're going to be placed in a situation where it's going to be your responsibility to perhaps deal with these people. All right. So and replace them with leaders that are respectful and respect the people of the area, and don't prey on them. And that's what I'm going through right now. You're going to be going through that as well. And this is my way of doing it. I go public. I want everybody to know what my full intention is. My full intention is to bless and benefit the people, the American people of the area around me. And so, anyway, so we got this. I went down to get this guy's bond. And she said, "I told you I didn't have no bond." And this was the deputy clerk. And I said, "That's not what the Secretary of State." She looked back, "Call up the sheriff." Now, what they like to do is they like to get disturbing the peace charges on you when you go in there. That's why I said, be careful when you speak with these people directly. Should always really write them if you're looking for information. You don't even have to ask them for their government information letter. I guarantee, I'll bet they don't have it. All right. So what you want to do is get the W-9 and run a 4506A and get the determination from the IRS saying that they're not a tax-exempt organization. Don't mess with them. And I show in one of the past videos on exactly how to do that. I showed exactly different ways. So one may fill out that form if they wanted to, or at least examples of how somebody could use to do theirs the proper way that they see fit. So, and before you start doing any of these things, anything, you should definitely get the tax exempt status on all the organizations that may be coming against you. Okay, you should be getting the bonds for the sheriff of your area. Okay, so anyway, I walked in there. I said, "Hey, look, I'd like to have the bond." "Oh, we don't have it." "I told you, call up the sheriff, disturbing the peace." Okay, I said, "Okay, no problem." I had the woman on speed dial. I'd gotten her number. This is the attorney for the Secretary of State, and I dialed it. I held the phone out to her. I said, hey, why don't you explain to the attorney for the Secretary of State, top attorney for the Secretary of State, why you're going to be bringing her in as a witness against you in this situation. Oh, girl, she's seen the number on the phone saying the attorney for the Secretary of State. Man, she just about turned white. Well, she was white. She turned whiter. She looked back at her little helper. She says, hold that call. Within less than 5 minutes, I had this Yoko's bond number. Okay, now he's probably got a new bond number. I'm going to have to get another one for him. I hadn't civilly impeached him yet. But, you know, I've been giving him rope. And this guy right here. So anyway, I step out and go to get in the elevator to go downstairs. Here comes the 2 sheriff deputies, and they're wanting to speak to me, and they're wanting to see IDs and all this. What do I need the ID for? You know, let me see your ID. You know, about 5 minutes later, one of them ran up in there, and he poked his head out. Oh, just let him go. And ever since then, me and the clerk, we've been sweet, sweet, sweet to each other. And that's the way it should be. You know, I don't mess with them too much unless I got to go in there and get information, or unless I got to do something. We leave each other alone. And if they respect me, I respect them, and that's the way it is. All right. So, and that's the way that's the way you're not going to get rid of the Antichrist. That's not my job, is to get rid of the Antichrist. My job is to act like as a good shepherd, and make sure that we don't have people like this fleecing. Now, this old boy right here, he's the son of one of his top deputies, and he burned down 3 Baptist churches. Now, I'd been reporting Baptist religious hate crimes, but these 2 yahoos, they're both Catholic, and they like Baptist religious hate crimes. They go after Baptists. And because of their poor examples, this young man right here decided he was going to not only burn down some black Baptist churches, but he was going to take some photographs of himself doing it. And he's just a nut. And that's when you're around crazies like this, you're going to get crazies like this. And so that's what crazies like this, leadership like this does. But you see, we don't have fair elections. So there's no getting rid of this, you know, unless you civilly impeach that, which we're going to be probably doing here this year. Just been having a lot going on, and, you know, one step at a time. And we work on Lord's budget. Now, this old boy right here, this is the sheriff of Rapides Parish. Now, he's a chomo. So is this guy right here. So is the sheriff for this. Now, this guy, I was going after this boy's chomo organization. I was successful in having the mayor of Ball and the chief of police of Ball arrested. They had a meth lab. They were running the prostitution in Alexandria, Louisiana, which they were in Grant Parish. They were on Grant Parish. They were coming over on Rapides Parish. And this boy wasn't doing nothing. He was allowing them. At the same time, one of the top guys for DARE, he ended up, his microphone ended up falling between his seats. He was on the schoolyard in the parking lot making a dope deal for a big cocaine run up to Detroit. So that's what these Democrats are doing. You know, they're chomoing, they're running the dope, and they're using the FBI and the state troopers to do that. They're running all that mess. So now what we got going on here is, so I just wanted to kind of go over, you know, our mission, what we've been doing, what we've been dealing with. I came back from Hawaii after getting those boys arrested, and man, they went after me. And they made me a political prisoner. And that's what we're talking about here. This old boy came out without a warrant, kidnapped me, and abused an elderly, falsely searched a Church of Christ and a Baptist church. He has no respect, and he needs to go. He needs to be civilly impeached. When I say go, that's what I mean. I wouldn't hurt this man physically. That's not my place. I want this man to have time that the Lord can deal with him. You know, who knows? He may, the Lord may turn him into a powerful servant that he can help people. That's not my place to judge him, but it is my place to judge what he's doing. And as a authority in this area, if I need to civilly impeach him. I'm going to teach y'all how to do that. Okay, to keep these boys like this from actually being heavily influenced by these demons, because that's what he is. I mean, right now he's being heavily, this boy right here and this boy right here, they just heavily influenced by demons. And so you're not dealing with, you know, this flesh and blood. You won't get rid of that demon by touching these boys. You gotta change the demon inside them, you know, so that they recognize what it is has been heavily influencing them. And so we're gonna try to help y'all a little bit today to show y'all different ways of, you know, what you want to do. So before you ever start really taking on anything, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I got a charge, or oh, I did this, and they're telling me they're going to arrest me. Well, you know, there's a lot of pre-work you want to do before you start stepping up and doing things, because these boys can get a charge over nothing. They came after me. They didn't have nothing. I was straight up political prisoner. I went in. I did everything right. I said, hey, bring me the claim, you know, bring me the, you know, I want to settle it. Oh, no, man. They took me out of the back. I wasn't even able to. That's why I told y'all on the last one. They got you under Rule 19. If you haven't resigned that position, they don't even have to hear you. And at that time, I was receiving mail for a state organization. So in a lot of ways, I was being dishonorable, even though they were pirates. All right, they're still pirates, but I didn't know. You know, I didn't know that I was receiving mail for a state organization. Thus, I was put under Rule 19, and I must be adjoined to the parties. So that's one of the first things I would suggest is resigning that job. Take this job and shove it, you know. And so this old boy right here, this is Earl Taylor. This is something else I would do. I would get the oath of office for the prosecutor. For the in this situation, he's the parish prosecutor. Okay, and Earl Taylor, he's an interesting character. And here's Earl Taylor right here. He's going to play some music for this man. Now, this man, he probably has family. All right, he's got family. He's got, he probably prosecuted this man right here. All right, but he's going to play him a tune. All right, this is old Earl Taylor. He's been around, man, he's been around for a long time. He's got like 4 oaths of office. All right, music has meant his life, yeah, and he'll play you a quick tune real fast, okay? So let me show you about Earl Taylor. Bless his heart. We're going to try to bless Earl Taylor. We're going to actually put his name on the top of this, so Earl Taylor will get this message if anybody ever goes to YouTube. This is his oath of office, and you're going to find all of them to one degree or is the same. They're going to either be signed by somebody who doesn't have the authority to sign it, okay? To this woman right here. See, this was in 2015, so imagine how many people have been prosecuted. Probably that brother right there was prosecuted. You know, that cousin with the orange suit was prosecuted within this time frame that he's had this oath of office. See his name right here. It's typed in. See it signed. You got somebody who it looks like Laura Marla. In fact, I looked it up, and she's saying that she's a notary public. Okay. The one problem is, do you see a seal on here? Do you see a commission? All right, notary commission. Do you see any bar number? No, I don't either, and that's a problem. Okay, so here's a bigger deal. Now we got a seal down here, but that's from the same deputy secretary that tried to have me arrested. Me and her get along good now. She gave me a true copy. This is a certified copy of his oath of office, and as you can see, it's got his address right here, Earl's, but it doesn't have old Marla's address right here where it goes, does it? Ooh, okay, so we got a little problem. We got Earl Taylor's signature, we got Earl Taylor's signature, and if you remember, it's printed up here. Okay, so let's look over the rules concerning Earl Taylor and his oath of office. All right, so this is RS, this is LRS, this is Louisiana Revised Statute. All right, and this is Title 35, Section 3. All right, this is now again, this is not the legislative law. All right, this is a private, what should I say, it's basically Reuters Westlaw, which is a British-based multinational media company, has made these private little copyrighted statutes. Okay, so to use this in a real court would be tampering with evidence. All right, but they're not in a real court like we've gone over before in these other videos. They're in a bank, so they can't use a legislative law. They have to use this thing. And since they're British, they're you got a British bar member, you got a Catholic canon law so-called judge, is really a bank clerk over that, and so that's what you're dealing with. All right, so you got a contract between the Rome, and you got a contract with the king at that time, the crown, the King of England. All right, and they've been a working partnership. That's why I believe they're the Antichrist and the false prophet. Okay, so you got a lot of Antichrists going around the world, and that's what this guy is, an Antichrist. All right, he may not know it. We maybe just sharing this with him, but we're gonna go over. Let's see what this gentleman right here, what type of what he may, in the orange suit, what he may have be able to do. All right, so oath of office and acknowledgement. Oaths and acknowledgement in all cases may be taken or made by or before any notary public duly appointed and qualified in the state. So now you're kind of seeing why old girl would want to write notary public next to her name, because it says right here that notary publics can do that. Only problem is I called up the Secretary of State and found out that she is not a duly appointed notary public. She is actually only a bar attorney. But they assured me that bar attorneys can notarize things too. Okay. Oh yeah. They can notarize stuff. Okay, no problem. Let me research that then, I said. And we're kind of going over right now what we found. RS 42-162, administration and recordation of oaths and affirmation. A, the oath of all officers of the state may be administered by the governor, any judge. Now remember, a judge, for it to be a record, a record that can be used under Rule 44, has to be a judge of a court of record. So that means that court has to be tax exempt. And of course, we already went over how to find out that these courts are not tax exempt. So they don't have any judges. All right. A justice of the peace and a notary public or a clerk of court, and shall be subscribed to by the parties taking it and certified in his commission by the person administering it. So it's got to be, they have to have a commission, not a bar number. All right. Does it say that a bar attorney can do this? No. All right. It says a notary public. And we're going to go why that's very important. All right. And of course, this is one of the kind of situations, they all like this. You got to pull up all of them that deals with this to really find the key of the secret of the con. All right. The scheme, as it were, as they call it in the Titanic. And shall be subscribed to by the parties taking it and certified in his commission by the person administrating it. This oath and affirmation shall be deposited in the office of the Secretary of State and recorded by him. The oath of affirmation of all parish officers shall also be recorded in the clerk of court office of the parish where the same may have been administered, to be recorded by the clerk of court in the book kept for that purposes. The oath of an affirmation shall be deposited in recordation within 1 month after the same shall have been administered. Okay, so he had 1 month after, like back in 2015, to do this, and it's going to say this in several places as we go over. That was a time frame he was to get this done after he got his commission. I got this from the clerk of court. Like I said, I seen that it didn't have a seal. I contacted directly the Secretary of State, the people that were holding them. I had them look up the wet ink signature copy, and they have confirmed, and I do have that on record, that there is no seal on that information with their notary. And the reason why is because I also called up the Secretary of State, and she doesn't have a notary seal, as in a notary commission seal. All right. 35. No person other than a regularly commissioned notary public shall use the title notary public. Oh, that's a problem. Oh, man, that's a big problem for old girl, isn't it? In fact, what does she have here? She's got notary public right there. But it says here she's not supposed to use that. Every person other than a regularly commissioned notary who is otherwise given notarial powers or authority as a notary ex officio shall clearly indicate his actual position or title from which his authority to notarize is derived, in addition to his notary identification number. Oh man, so why didn't she put that she was doing it as a bar attorney and put her bar number? Oh, that's right, because up here it doesn't give a bar attorney the ability to administer oaths of office. So just that right there alone means that his oath of office is worthless. That everybody he prosecuted is innocent. Or at least this old boy right here has got the ability to play a little tune for him right now, huh? Yeah, I bet you this man right, look at him. Does he look like he's amused by this guy right here? Let's look at him again. I want to look at him. Oh man, look at him. He's like, I can't believe I'm stuck in here with this orange suit for the rest of my life. They're gonna be seeing me in this orange suit. You can't even hear him what he said. All right, it's just sad. It's just really sad. But that's our Earl. We love him. We love our Earl here. All right, so there you go. All right, so let's finish this out because we got a pretty good bit to go over. All right, so So this woman didn't have the right, so she's in violation of Title 35. He and she both are in violation of Title 35, Section 12C, because he darn sure should have already known that. All right, so let's read the whole 35:12 statute, because that was just that one part that kind of really gets them. But this whole thing, they're in violation of multiple stuff in here. So let's go over that. All right, so the names to be given in full, together with parties, permanent mailing address. All right, parties. All right, so parties identification and parties identification number. Ooh, so let's just look at this. That right there, it don't have that party's identification number. It don't have the notary's identification number, and it only has one address. Her address isn't on here. So she's in violation of that too, isn't she? So she's not only in violation of 3512C, she's in violation of 3512A1. All right, 3512, but it goes into it further. A1, notaries shall insert in their act the Christian name and surname of the parties in full and not in the initials, letters alone, or the full names of the parties and not their initial letters alone, together with the permanent mailing address of the party. So she's in violation of A1 section. Shall print and type the full names of the witnesses and of themselves under the prospective signatures. Oh, well, hang on. Shall print or type the full names of the witnesses and of themselves under their respective names. Where is her name printed and typed? In fact, I didn't even know what her name was. I had to call the Secretary of State to really find out who she was. And let me go ahead and assure you, I've already had my top notary. He's the top notary in the, I have two of the top notaries in the state that work for me. They're the ones that train all the notaries. And both of them looked at this and laughed, and it's like, ooh, this is unlawful. The one of them, she actually works with attorneys. She didn't want to agree, but she was like, yeah, this is just, oh man, this is bad. I said, yeah. We just laughed about it. We just looked at each other and said, wow. So she doesn't have her name printed. She doesn't have nothing. She's just out there. And there you go. And she's something else too. She's cocky. I talked to her. I should play her video on here, but No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play people's videos on here when I talk to them. I like for people to be able to know that they can talk to me without putting it on here. If somebody I really don't like, I'll do it. But there you go. And she actually told me, oh yeah, we've called up the feds. We've started an investigation. I guess they were talking about investigating on me. I said, oh, good. Yeah, I like charges. Bring them to me. I know what to do with a charge now. No, she ain't gonna bring me no charge. And so anyway, for the purpose of this section, a full name or a name in full shall include at least the given name. Yeah, they did all that. Notary shall type and print, and put her commission. No, she didn't do that. So she's in violation of A1 and A2 of that title, the principles of that title. Now also understand that I've got the copyright permit to use this for education. So it doesn't matter if their stuff is copyrighted, I get to use it. All right. Every document notarized in the state shall bear the notary identification number assigned by the Secretary of State, except that if the notary is an attorney licensed to practice law in the state, he may use his Louisiana State Bar number in lieu of his notary identification number. The number shall be typed or printed legibly and placed next to the typed, printed, and stamped name of the notary as required by Section A. So even if this, now understand that this has to do with all, this 35 has to do with all notaries. This up here has to do with notarizing oaths. All right, so there's a difference. They can notarize, but can they notarize oaths? Doesn't say so. I haven't found anywhere where an attorney can notarize an oath of office. But even if they did, she was supposed to put her identification number, which she didn't. And she lied and she violated where she's not supposed to be placing a notary public. She actually put that she was a notary public when she wasn't. All right, so she's now multiple violations of this. No person other than a regular commission notary shall use the title notary public. And you see that right below that. Every person other than a regular commission notary who is otherwise given notarial powers authorizing as a notary. And that's the reason why. See, it says right here that attorneys can use it, but they must put their bar numbers, but they can't use this right here. Why they can't use this right here? Because of this right here, and this right here. Oaths of office. They knew, they don't want you committing fraud, and only notary publics. So they wanted it very clear that only notary publics, commissioned notary publics, are to give oaths of office. And they knew that this woman was going to try to pull this, and she did. She thought she was going to get away with it, and she would have. And she has for how many years? This dude has done this 4 times. This is his 4th oath of office, and it took old coon ass like me to just read a little bit and do a little research. You're going to find the same thing for yours. So you definitely want to do a little due diligence before you start doing a lot. You want to have this, this information down, because this is the guy that's going to come after you. This is one of the guys that's probably going to want to come after you, to try to harass you for doing what you legally can do, and they're going to make you a political prisoner. It's like this man right here. Guarantee you, this man right here, they didn't have a harm party. All right. He's in there for doing something stupid that they probably didn't harm nobody. But I can guarantee you his family is doing without him. His loved ones don't have him in their life over stupid. Over stuff that this man, what I'm showing you right now, this man is so much more a criminal than this man right here. It is not even funny. Imagine how many people this man has unlawfully prosecuted with no oath of office. How much money the state owes these people because of his acts. It's sad, really. All right, so we're going to keep on going, but that pretty much covers it. I mean, we can. He's in violation a whole lot more. No office agent, no state office, agency, department, or political subdivision shall accept, file, or record any document notarized in the state on or after 2005, unless the document contain the notary identification or attorney bar roll number and the type, print, and or stamp name, all right, of this witness. So they weren't even You see, they weren't even supposed to accept this old boy's deal, were they? The fact that she accepted this, they have this on file, is violation of 3512, Title 3512, okay? And we're going down public officers to take constitutional. All public officers shall take and subscribe to the oath and affirmation required. This is the Constitution before acting on their respective office. All right. So that meant that everything he's done is a violation, and this is his oath that he would support. I will support the laws of the state. Well, apparently, and faithfully, impartially discharge and perform all duties. Apparently, he didn't. He decided the laws that concern him, they don't reaccount. The laws that concern this man, they counted big time, huh? Yeah, enough that his life was taken from him. Oh, but that's just nothing, The laws that concern him. Why didn't he want to take an oath? Because if he acts, because then he'd have to act for the public interest rather than his private interest. And we already told you he's not actually operating within a court. He's actually operating within a private bank, and they're making good money. Why would and what's really sad is this man's probably a bright fella. I mean, really bright. I mean, look at him. He's funny. He can be charming. I imagine this guy could have went on and created buku businesses, putting a lot of people to work in his lifetime, and instead he chose to be a criminal. And, that's what we're having to deal with. We're having to clean up the aftermath. And that's what we're here for as ministers, as servants of the Most High El. That's what we're here for, to be fearless and go out, to shine our light. This little light of mine, Lord. Yeah, I'm going to let it shine, baby. I'm not going to put no hedge on it. I'm going to let it shine. And here it goes. Let me put a little brightness into this, okay? So 141, time limitation oath. We already went over that. Failure to comply with the required of this section shall create a vacancy in the office. So guess what? We don't even have a DA according to 42, section 141. Because his office is vacant. Why? Because he failed to do his oath of office within 30 days. Okay. Requirement of a bond or insurance suspension of notarial commission. All right, this has to do with the notaries are to have a bond. It doesn't say, okay, well, let me hear. The commission of any qualified notary, not attorney, other than the licensed attorney at law who fails to renew his timely shall be automatically suspended. Okay, that's why it must be notarized, because they need a bond, because this guy right here was supposed to be dealing with public matters. He's dealing with public matters, taking people's lives. There needs to be a bond, not only for her but for him, the person who administered the oath and him. And they just said, no, that don't apply to us. We're criminals. We do what we want. All right. 2000, this is Notary Public Commission, substitute notarial, substitute their bonds for for personal surety. So that's apparently what she decided to do. She wants her personal surety to cover what she did. All right, so that means that everything she owns, because she doesn't have a bond put up, should be secured properly. Am I incorrect in that? Leave the comments below if you think I am. Secretary of State shall accept said substitution on notarial bonds with personal security in lieu of notarial bonds and security companies as secured. There is nothing with the Secretary of State whatsoever for her. So she's in violation of that too. She can use that, but she's got to put something up. All right. The commission of any qualified notary other than the licensed attorney fails to renew and timely went over that shall automatically be suspended. Okay, now here we go. Bonds elimination, and requirements, notwithstanding any provision of law contrary, which that would be that. No notary who is a licensed attorney shall be required to, does it say have a bond, or does it just say post a bond? Okay, it says post of any kind. It doesn't say it doesn't have to have a bond of any kind. It says they're not required to post a bond of any kind. But they'll toss this up like, oh, they don't have to have a bond. Well, it doesn't say you don't have to have a bond. It says you don't have to post a bond. Okay, but you can, if you don't want to have a bond, you can have it you can personal security. We accept that too. Yeah, we accept that too. It's not a problem. I'm going to show you how to accept that. Louisiana law, Title 35, notarial public commissions, substitute. Okay, so we went over that. They can substitute it, especially ex officio recording or conveyance. Such bond security aforesaid, substitute a bond with personal surety. Okay. 181 bonds with surety residing in parish or by surety company. All public officers. Now this goes from, that was dealing with notaries. Now this is dealing with public officers. This is dealing with Earl. All public officers who are required by law to give bond shall give bond secured by a personal surety or residing within the parish where the officer resides, the function of his office, or by a reputable and reliable surety company doing business in the state. Okay, so they have to either put up some property that's in the parish, or they have to have a surety company. Okay, he doesn't have either. I guarantee I already called. He doesn't have a bond. They said he don't need one. But let's look at 42, Title 42, 182, if that's true or not. Officers to whom are not applicable. So you got 181 says you got to have a bond. You got 182 that says some of them don't. Let's see who don't. The provision in RS 42, 181, that's this right here, saying they all have to have a bond, shall not apply to who? The state treasurer, the state auditor, the parish recorder, and clerk of the district court. Oh, I don't see where the DA, district attorney, doesn't have to have a bond, does it? Oh, so that means the district attorney is supposed to have a bond, isn't he? Oh, he's not excluded from that, but does he have a bond? Oh no, he don't have a bond. Okay, and you see he's supposed to have taken his oath. There's the oath he was supposed to take. When is the date of salary? Because he's been getting paid for a long time. Like I said, four oaths he's got up there. That's years. My grandfather was alive back in the day when he was the prosecutor. It says public officer's date of salary commences the salary of any officer in the state whose compensation depends upon or is to be computed by the time of service shall commence from the date on which he took the oath of office, or where the oath is taken in compliance with Section 141 and Title 42 of the effective date and set therein. We already showed that it's not in compliance with that. And so he's been collecting the salary, for a long time. And his office has been vacant. Okay? That's fraud. So there you go. Title 42, Section 72, recognition of usurper penalty. Any public officer who gives adhesion to or in any manner recognizes the authority of any usurper as contemplated by 4271 forfeits his office. So I showed you earlier that if they didn't have this information, the clerk of court wasn't supposed to accept this, were they? But they did. Oh, so that would include them. So their office is vacant, right? They forfeited their office. Oh, yeah. Declaration of forfeit of office created by Constitution. Whenever the governor is informed that any public officer has forfeited his office by giving adhesion to or recognizing any usurper, or the governor may, which in law that means must, when the office is established by the Constitution, which the district attorney is, direct the Attorney General of the District Attorney to take legal proceedings before the court of competent jurisdiction to have the forfeiture declared. So the governor would need to be notified about this, wouldn't he? Yes, he would. These proceedings shall be summary and be had by rule with notice of 1 full day in the offender. The court shall hear and determine the rules at once. Any appeal taken shall be made returnable within 10 days and shall be heard by the preference of the Supreme Court, as in the case of the contest for judicial office. Okay, so they got to do this quick. You know, it's got to be done real fast. And so there you go. Yeah, and so this is just a repeat. And of course, these are federal crimes as well. This is, you know, the principles in 82 USC 1652, the laws of the several states, except where the Constitution and threats of the United States or acts of Congress otherwise required, provide, shall be regarded as rules and decided in civil actions in the courts of the United States in cases where they apply. So the state rules. So, you know, you can bring this also into a federal situation because this would involve federal crimes as well. You know, Title 18, Section 241, things like this. He's violated a lot of people's rights. Okay, so what do you do? All right, because I guarantee you go before them, they're going to say the hell with you, or, you know, they're going to try to hide it. This is a lot of money. Imagine the amount of money that these old boys owe. All right, I mean, it's stupid amount of money. And why? Because they're pirates. Come on, tell it to me. Because you're a pirate, baby. Come on, give it to me. You're a pirate. That's right. And Earl's a pirate. And what he's doing is he's claiming that these warrants, he's putting out warrants, and I've already gone over in another one. These are actually writs of attachment, all right, that they're putting out. And under writs of attachment, you know, you have certain things that you got. And you want to look at that past video. I went over this really, really well on the writs of attachment and what to do. All right, so what do you do in this type of situation? Let me find out where we got here. Got you somewhere. Hang on just one second. Hey, I know I got you pulled up, boo. Ah, there we go. Yeah. All right. Too many windows open. All right. So here is a non-UCC official document for filing. All right, so let's say they want to pick you up for a political. Like I said, they're bound and determined they're going to get you. You don't went after somebody. You don't put the hurt on somebody. They don't like you, but they like their boys. All right, so you're not going to get no justice from them. It's like when we had the religious hate crime. You know, before this old boy ever burnt down the first church, I was going to these guys saying this man had committed a religious hate crime. I went to the state attorney general. This man, no warrant, committed a religious hate crime against a Baptist minister, me, against the Church of Christ, against a Baptist church with no warrants, illegally searching, abused an elderly woman, never been arrested in her life. Her heart actually ripped open. She didn't have a heart attack. She had to have a stent. They scared her so bad. At 76 years old. This hoe right here was involved in that, this Chomo. And it was because he was protecting his Chomo ring, Democratic Chomo ring, that these two boys are involved in. They're profiting from these undocumented children being carried through Louisiana to the different cults. Now, well, let me get into a little bit further of this. Now, after I ran for sheriff and I stopped this old boy, a 14-year sheriff from winning, immediately after we got the arrest, and we found I was up in Hawaii. I was studying law, and I met a FBI agent that taught me how to bring that charge into Washington D.C. because I'd already tried to bring the charge directly to Baton Rouge FBI, and they refused to investigate this guy. So we got, or the mayor, we got, I got him. He couldn't run, like I said at the time. He had been arrested in Mexico, and they were hiding that. So one of his chiefs ran, and I stopped him from running. I stopped him from winning. There was 70% chance to win 2 months before the election. I got him with $500, and the Spirit speaking through me, and oh Lord, that the fire came out, and they lost. And it was funny. They had $2.5 million showing, plus all the free labor of them putting up the signs and everything. I had $500, and I got exactly 3% of the vote, and that's exactly how much they lost by. Isn't that a beautiful thing? You know, and let me tell you, they offered me jobs. Oh, did they offer me money? Oh, this old boy offered me a lot of money. I'd be sitting back good with a good pension right now if I'd sold out and but think of all those children that had been raped. When I got back, I had to do 3 years in the feds because of this piece of trash right here, this chomo right here, and this chomo right here. But let me tell you, every day was worth it. They were force raping black boys in the LeCompte prison. You stepped out of line with them, they'd get your child. They'd put them in there and they'd rape them. You think I'd do that again? I'd do it every day, twice on Sunday, son. Proud of it. Not to have pride, but thank the Lord I was given the opportunity, and I'd take that opportunity again and again. All right, so I didn't know this stuff back then. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done day one. That's why I want to share with you. So when you step up and you stop, because that's why I was going to explain to you. When I went to Hawaii, I learned that whole big island, the Army trains their information gatherers there. G1, G2s, G2s, whatever you want to call them. And they're all Wiccans. They're witches. All right. You see Pelosi and her shaking. She ain't nervous. That woman's got the cannibal disease called the laughing disease. She's shaking like that because of all the human flesh she's eating. All right. We had a guy who was documenting there were at least 2 young girls missing every month off the Big Island, and they weren't advertising it. They're sacrificing these young girls. They're sacrificing these children, and they're eating them. All right, that's the reason why these Democrats want these undocumented children coming in, because if they're undocumented, nobody notices them missing. This dude was a devil worshiper. He's a devil worshiper, and so is he. These are demon-possessed men, and they are involved in child trafficking and the human consumption. I don't know if he's actually eating children, but he's involved. He might as well be holding the children down while they're doing that because he's directly involved, and he doggone well knows it. Okay? So this is what one can do. All right, so this is a non-UCC notification. Now, he goes over this. I'm going to go over this real slow so you can see it. You don't have to use this form. You can use a form of an affidavit, or you can use this form and write this in. I don't like using these forms, but I would use this as a pattern of what someone might would do for this. And as you can see, he is putting a lien on his personal property. Okay. And you see how he's doing that. He's mailing that registered mail either to himself or to a notary. Okay. But just like he's putting all his own stuff on here, guess what? One could put this old boy's bar number on there, couldn't he? Because he put up his bar number for surety. One could put hire a private detective for $25, find out everything this man owns because we went over it. Yeah, he's supposed to have a bond, ain't he? Who isn't supposed to have a bond? Who's the only ones that's not supposed to have a bond? What public officers are not to have a bond? It isn't him. All right. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Yeah. Ooh, it might be down right here. All right, yeah. Only these people are not supposed to have a bond. Yeah, only the state treasurer, auditor, parish recorder, and clerk of court for the district court. It's not supposed to have a bond. He's supposed to have a bond, but he doesn't have one. Why? Because he can't get one. Because he don't have an oath of office. There ain't nobody's going to bond his action. They'll look at that real quick and say, man, you don't have no oath of office. So, you know, I hear all these things. People go in there and say, oh, you're supposed to tell them, oh, I bind you to your oath and all this. They don't have no oaths. None of these people have no oaths. This old judge down here, calling herself a judge, don't have no oath. You know, most magistrates for Louisiana, they don't even have, they tell you when you call up the clerk of court, there is no oath for these people. They don't even have an oath. All right, so let's say you go and you make one of these. Well, how do you put it out? All right, there's different ways. You could actually do a UCC1 at that time. If you want to have it international, you could file one in Puerto Rico. You can file as many UCCs as you want. You're going to find out there's usually 3 states in each area. Louisiana, I think it's Texas or Mississippi. I know it's Arkansas and Louisiana. And there's like one other one that you could put it in along with Louisiana. But they can take that off, that UCC1. So how do you do it? Well, you could notify one of these many organizations that put out the newspapers. This is the people who do the newspapers for the Minnesota UCCs. And you could contact any one of these, and they'll charge you about $40 to put out your UCC. And they'll notify your non-UCCs. And whenever you pop up Earl Taylor's name, it'll have the fact that you put a lien on his Social Security number, on his bar number, on his personal property, located at such. Man, he ain't selling that. He ain't getting no loans no more. He ain't getting nothing no more. You know? And that's just the way it is. And these are all the different organizations that will print these off, that will publicly notify of your claim on those unsecured securities. Okay, I mean, this goes on for a long ways. How do you get to this? Let me show you. Okay, so let me see, right here. Okay, so you go to Minnesota. All right, you go to the front page, you go to search, all right, and you type in which one do I type in? I type in newspaper. And I can also type in, let me see, legal newspaper list. That's what I'm going to type in. Legal. Let's see, it might be just newspaper I was supposed to do. Let's see, it's popping up. Okay. Legal newspapers. Legal newspaper list right there. Bam. Okay, it's going to bring me to this page right here. I'm going to go to legal newspaper. I'm going to punch this. It's going to ask me if I want to save it. Open it. I want to open it. But you can save it too. And there we go. Now you got all the lists. You know, you want to notify everybody that, you know, your UCC, that you've claimed all your property. Well, this is where you would send it to be copied. That's why I probably wouldn't put it on a UCC. I probably would put it on this. You know, I probably would make up my own documentation. All right, for it to be put out. You know, it doesn't have to be on a UCC statement. You can write up there, non-UCC official document filing per, you know, registered number, blank, blank, blank. You know, he's got his registered number there. I'm going to go do this one more time so you can see how he did his, how he's claiming. This is Patrick Devine claiming to do his. The verbiage that he's putting on it. Now, I have this on the file, but, you know, Facebook loves to block stuff like this. You just won't be able to find it one day. I looked today, I couldn't find it. So I don't know if it's blocked or if it's just me or what the situation may be. But there you go. So if you see anything on Facebook, the Night Sovereign, you want to get that quick. Okay. Now, am I saying all these things because I hate these people? Do you think I hate this man right here? You know, I don't hate this guy. I have no reason to hate this man right here, Earl Taylor. I have no reason whatsoever. In fact, I love this man. If I didn't love him, I wouldn't be sticking myself out to help him. Because Lord knows he's in a lot of trouble. Now, I don't give a flot about what happens to him on this earth. Man, I'm talking about when he goes before the real judge, man. This man had children. I can guarantee you that man in the suit has children. That man right there has hurt those children. And we know what the word says happens to people that hurt the innocent like that. It's not good. So, you know, I'm trying to send love to this man. I don't want anybody to say I hate this guy, because I don't. I'm also going to send some love to, and you can look up this right here. This is going to go into, you know, to prevent fraudulent joinders on resolution. This is 175, providing for constitutional consideration of the bill, House Joint Resolution. This is 28. This also goes into, you know, Rule 19. You know, how do you know, why they're basically boarding your vessel. They're taking your butt across, and they're putting you, when you go into that court, you're into their foreign vessel, and there's a Earl right there. And there you are. And they've done taking you hostage. Why? Why? Yeah, because they're a pirate. They're pirates, baby. And he's definitely not a prosecutor. I done showed you that. Now, here we go. What you want to look at is, now this is not the original. You can go to the National Archives and get the original copy for this is the San Lorenzo El Rio Treaty between His Catholic Majesty and the United States of America. And it says that they shall not affect American estates. Doesn't say Moorish Americans, doesn't say indigenous, it doesn't any of that. It says American estates. So it's very important that you don't give up your American, status for some Moroccan. You're not going to say that you're Moroccan and you're American. All right, there isn't. And if you, I know there's brothers watching this right now. Please, if I'm wrong, help your cousin, me. If I'm wrong, please show me. Man, where the Sultan of Morocco ever had loyalty from any tribes or any nations here in the Americas. Show me where he had anything other than a letter from George, who was trying to get him to quit being a pirate against the ships. Okay? Because let me tell you something. When I was in Hawaii, Kingdom of Hawaii and them has plenty of proof that when there was a capital that ruled over this area and Hawaii and a large part of the world, their capital was actually in the Philippines, not in Morocco. All right, didn't have nothing to do with Morocco. Jean-Philippe, the pirate out of New Orleans, Jean-Philippe, or whatever how you pronounce his name. If you look up if you go down to New Orleans and look up the people who was actually on board, those are Filipinos, and they called them Moors. That was on made up of mostly of his crew, because they were navigable. They were good navigable. They weren't Moroccans. Okay, I can guarantee. I would bet just about money that those crew that brought Columbus weren't Moroccan neither. They were Filipinos because they knew how to sail. And so there you go. They could have been, like I said, I reserve the right to be wrong. And that's what we're here for. We're here, come, let us reason. We are brothers and sisters in under El. I ask for his wisdom, his knowledge. I ask for his blessings. I ask for a hedge of protection to be put around our loved ones and ourselves. I ask that this blesses and does not curse. And I do it all in his name. Yahashua, Jehovah Elohim. He stuck it all the way out. Unlike the Sultan, my king did not sell me out. He went to his death, his crucial and his painful death, for not only me, but for you. And why? Because he loves us, baby. And I love you too. Be blessed. May peace be with you. And much aloha and shalom to y'all out there.
So have you guys seen the warrants and the audio that Patrick put up explaining that?
Yes.
I haven't gone through it yet.
The interesting feature about that,
Elizabeth?
Hi, Elizabeth,
Hello.
is that with that warrant, you're asking the marshals and those people to do it, kind of in distinction of with some of the other warrants I've seen people produce, whereby you try to do the rest and take the people yourself. Which your immediate problem is if you're able to get take them somehow and capture them, where do you put them? What do you do with them? But basically with this, you're putting them on notice that they have committed crimes, and also you're putting the marshal service and the other law enforcement people on notice that they should be doing their job. But I would imagine Patrick has some other ways, interesting ways of looking at this too. And I would imagine that he came about this because he said he would produce an endorsement to get people out of jail. But I see that this is kind of in preparation for how he wants to do that, because as he's doing this, you can see that he thinks it through. He undercovers problems. He wants to solve those problems and make everything complete before he issues the documents. People want to discuss what they've done and putting in paperwork this week?
Where would I get the global stamp for the non-UCC?
At the post office. It costs $1.15 each.
So I would just say I need a global stamp and just pay the $1.15.
Yeah, I think they have 2, maybe 3 selections. Because the selections now are not the same as when Patrick first introduced the idea. Those round stamps don't seem to be available anymore.
Thank you.
I have to look, and I ordered, when I went there, I bought 10. Because he's also putting them on important documents also. And, some of them are getting mailed out, some of them are just in our UCC that we keep, our master file.
Thomas, my Mac won't open the WMA file. Is it available?
What was that question?
Is the audio available in MP3 instead of the WMA format?
No, that's the way he did it, but if you wanted an MP3, go to zamzar.com, ZAMZAR, and that will allow you to convert almost any format to any other format.
Great, thanks.
I'm on right now.
They used to be able to character recognize scanned PDFs, but it doesn't do that anymore, or at least it doesn't do it very well.
Yeah, go ahead.
I used Zamzar a lot when Patrick didn't have internet and he was faxing me documents, and I would have to take the faxes, scan them, and reconstruct the documents. So I learned a lot about what those kind of services do. And another useful service too is when you want to work with PDFs, like Patrick's non-UCC is just filling in a PDF, but there are also some places where he added some extra wording. If you go to pdfescape.com, you can take his PDF there, fill in all the form fields, and you can also insert text and other graphics to it. So there's various good online tools. You don't have all the expensive programs. That, you know, I mean, Adobe costs some fortune. Now, Patrick is recommending that you get Nitro PDF to modify any PDFs that you have. I think it's about $40.
Also, I'm confused with the non-UCC, the registered mail number with the 9-digit that I'm supposed to put on the right-hand side. Would that be my zip code and the four numbers from the zip code, or would I buy the $13 or $15 and then they would put it in on the post office?
Be more specific than this, just on the right-hand side.
I'm sorry?
Be more specific than it's just on the right-hand side. Where on the right-hand side?
You need to go to the post office and ask them for a roll of registered stamps. They'll give you stamps for free. They're red, and they say RE, and then there's 9 digits, and they say US. That's where you get the stamps.
I think she may be talking about how to endorse the global stamp that we're putting there on there. That's why I'm asking her to be more specific.
Oh, no, she said the 13-digit ones.
As to what part of the document she's talking about. That's the trouble with a lot of questions, that people mention something that's in the document, but they don't identify what the document is and what the file is called. Where on the document they're having the problem.
No, it's for the non-UCC.
Yeah.
And I don't know which numbers, like the registered certified numbers that goes on the right-hand side.
Okay.
I was kind of confused. Would that be my zip code, or the lady just told me that I gotta get some roll for registered stamp on the post office? So is that what it's called? Just roll for registered stamp?
Yeah, just tell them they'll either give you a 5 or 10 or 20 or.
Hey, lady, slow down. Let somebody respond to what you're saying. Okay, you keep talking, and basically somebody can't tell you what you're asking. Okay, that you get a registered mail label. Okay, a registered mail label has 13 digits on it. Okay?
And you get it at the post office for free.
Yes, you have to get the registered mail labels from the post office.
Right.
They have to give those to you because you have to be able to put the number on the document inside the letter. Okay? You explain that to them if they refuse to give it to you. Or you go to another post office and get it from them.
Right. I've been to some small post offices, and they don't know about that. And if you ask them to order a roll of registered...
You don't order a roll. You only need a couple, okay?
Well, I found it easier to get a roll than to get a couple of them.
What are you going to do with a roll of them, okay? You only need a couple, okay?
I know.
Those are important documents, okay? Those registered mail labels. You can get them whenever you need them.
Yeah, it's
they
very
are tracked.
Get 2 or 3.
Those numbers are tracked, even on the roll when they hand them out. Why get something and basically throw it away in the process? You're messing with the damn system. Okay? 5, 10, whatever. But a roll of them? Come on. And then you're not going to want to send them out by registered mail anyway, except back to yourself. Because registered mail, you try to send a registered mail off to Washington, D.C., and it's going to have to go, it has to be hand-delivered. Okay? It may sit in the vault in one of the post offices for a week or two. You want something expedited there, you use the 13-digit express mail. Okay, it's got a 13-digit number on it also. It's going to cost you about another $10 to get it express mailed. But, in my opinion, it is a hell of a lot. It's more valuable to do it that way than it is to send it registered mail, and hopefully you get it there in 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
You people got to start thinking about some of this stuff. The problem is, most of you people have never done any of this stuff, to where basically some of us people have done this stuff, so believe us when we say what we're talking about. I have done everything I have talked about. I sent out 3 warrants today. One for the county attorney, one for the magistrate judge, and one for the district judge. I have no problem in doing that because I know who I am.
And how long?
I'm gonna keep
how long did it take you
putting
to
the
learn all this
pressure on them.
information?
What?
How long did it take you to learn all this information?
Years.
Yeah, they gonna come up.
I mean, it wasn't no turn key, and all of a sudden everything just flashed into my mind. Really, it started when I was 5 years old, sitting in church, listening to a damn minister call himself Father, and basically listening to a gospel or epistle, and Jesus throwing all the people out of the damn court, and sitting and looking around, and I got a teacher, a doctor, a banker, and all the people that Jesus was throwing out of the temple sitting all around me. And I said, what the shit's going on here? These are the people that Jesus threw out of the temple. And I saw that when I was 5 years old. But then my parents told me, oh, well, that's the Old Testament. Basically, this is New Testament. And everybody's good now. Talk of bullshit. We haven't had a valid president in this country. The only one that came close was JFK, and everybody badmouthed him because he was a Roman Catholic. But yet, the Roman Catholic Church was instrumental in killing him. The office of president, see, has been vacated ever since Woodrow Wilson. He vacated the presidency when he basically signed on with the damn foreign bankers. People don't even know how to read Article 12, which is one of the 12 or one of the 15 commandments, American commandments, out here. When was the last time you ever voted for the vice president? Never. You always just vote for the president and basically get stuck with the damn nitwit he decides is going to be his vice president. That wasn't what the 12th Amendment says. People don't know that those amendments are commandments. commandments. They are to command the national government, so these are federal government commandments. They stand over the Constitution in the commanding of authority. Insurrection is by all of these government officials that we have, by the servants. You have to start waking up the law enforcement people out here, explaining to them how they're getting screwed by these bills of credit that these damn commercial bankers and government bankers are not honoring. They issue bills of credit and then they never honor them. They never give you full disclosure in the process. I had Tom post a document up there about the magistrate judge. Read that document. My arrest warrant for her. She's an impersonator. She is impersonating a lawful government judicial office. She has a bar card. She has a foreign title of nobility. Violation of Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution. Why do the courts not have the commandments in the court? Everybody wants to see the 10 commandments there. How about the American commandments on the right-hand side? The valid American commandments, 1 through 15. 16 through the 27th are invalid because they're under the commercial government out here. They're frauds. The commercial government tried to take our title away from us as American or as a federal government citizen. They try and claim that they're the federal government, and they're not. We, the people, and the sovereignty of the state are the federal government. But it's the sovereignty of the men of age. Because this was supposed to be a family nation, a nation of families. And the women were supposed to be protected along the same lines as the Book of Ruth. Either under their father, their husband, or their dead husband. Or if they got divorced, they revert back to their father. I've stated before that basically several women down in Texas have gone into court and come in there and said, I stand by the Book of Ruth. The court can't do anything. Because they would have to bring in the father, the guardian, in the process. The father or the husband or whatever. These courts out here are operating in total fraud. They are not honoring the bills of credit that they issue. They are turning around. And any court case that you go into, the court, the judge, and the court prosecutor, they're turning around and filing charges into the bankruptcy court system against your UCC contract trust. And you never know about it. It's non-taxed. They're not paying taxes, but they're operating it for a profit. They turn around and they issue out bills of attainder, which is basically, in most cases, an arrest warrant, under no court seal, under no oath, valid oath of office. That's a violation of the law right there. But there's a marquee and reprisal. They're using the mail system in mail fraud. This is pretty much all with the state courts. But the federal courts are doing the same thing because they were never really authorized to do that either. These guys are not complying with the statutes at large. We, the people, have the authority. We order them. But you're going to have to basically scream bloody murder, rape in the process. Use a few words like, I'm getting tired of getting fucked over here. Now, are you going to do your fucking job or not? Tell them flat out. Don't miss any words. Make them understand, and they understand those words. That's the American lingo right now. You have to show them that you have the authority. Say, hey, where did I give you the authority to do this over me? I signed a contract with you. Where is my benefits of this damn contract? I gave something. You have to give something in return. Contracts are not one-sided deals. Just like the ledger book in this damn country. You have bills of debt. Therefore, you have to have bills of credit to set off the bills of debt. None of this is that hard to understand. I'm trying to break it down as simple as I can. I've tried over the years to explain a lot of the stuff in the Bible. It's strictly metaphors. It's all about banking, money, labor, exchangement. Going all the way back to poor old Cain, when he was busting his ass in the garden for the benefit of his father and mother, old Adam and Eve, sitting on their ass, not doing anything, but eating up all of Cain's labor in the process and not thanking him one bit. That's why he said he had enough and he left town. He killed off his counterpart, Abel, and said, I'm out of here. I'm through working in your damn commercial banking system. And then all the way down through history, through the Babylonian Empire, through the Egyptians, through the Assyrians, through the Sumerians, through the Greeks, into the Roman time. Julius Caesar was basically the last valid Roman emperor because he was trying to operate with labor dollars and not with the bankers' usury dollars. So they killed him. Just as they did Abraham Lincoln when he created the greenbacks, which were labor dollars, to where the bankers could not charge an interest or tax the labor dollars. That's what JFK was trying to re-resurrect in the process. That's why he got killed. Garfield got killed because he was trying to keep the bankers out with the insurance system coming into this country. The Declaration of Independence was a independent declaration to break away from the East India commercial banking. Commercial bankers out of England. That's what it was all about. The independence was, we're going to operate with lawful continental dollars, which are labor dollars. They tried to set up a national banking charter for the country. Notice the Articles of Confederation, but it failed because it required 100% agreement between all of the 13 colonies. It failed. So they had to come up with a new banking charter, national banking charter, and that was the Constitution. And then it basically reverted to the tribunal system of 2/3 majority to pass a bill. This stuff isn't that hard to figure out when you know what you're looking for. And stop believing everything you've been told your whole damn life out here. By the religious leaders, by the teachers, by the law enforcement officers, and everybody else. Do they know the law? No. I'll bet you 90% of the law enforcement officers have never read the Constitution or the amendments. And then if they did, they never understood them in the process. Just like most people that say they've read the Constitution, they don't even see that basically a senator cannot run for re-election. He can't be in office and run for the office the next term. He has to sit out one term. The same thing was held true with the presidency. Grover Cleveland proved that one. Davy Crockett proved the one about the congressman. He voted for something that was wrong his first term, so he had to sit out one term and then try and run for re-election and promised that he was going to correct the mistake that he made the first term, of which he did. On the site, there is a audio 5,000 year history of the making of the Constitution. It has some very good information in there. Something like 36 or 38 audios.
Wow.
It's worthwhile listening to it. There's information out there if you are willing to dig and find out the truth. You cry loud enough, and basically sooner or later somebody is going to hear you. And the more of us that start crying and putting our paperwork in, sooner or later, we're going to start waking up somebody, because they know that they're in the wrong, and unless they start operating properly, somebody just might come in and take them out. Get pissed enough to basically go postal on them. These judges are starting to get scared in the damn process. That's why they try and control everything, and basically once they get somebody into their system, then basically they try and shut the door and don't let any other documents come in there. They try and regulate the justice. Freedom of speech. Right of protest. The national government is the Constitution's. The government that was laid out by the Constitution of the country and of the states. That is the national government. The federal government is we the people and the sovereignty of the states. The sovereignty that was retained by the states as a republic or as a commonwealth. That we have our powers and rights as American federal government citizens. We're not a national citizen. We're not under the Constitution. We stand over it. All the constitutions start off, we the people. So we are the federal government, the federated government. As basically it was called out in the Articles of Confederation. Federation. The people. That was the only thing that really was retained out of the Articles of Confederation was the Federation, the people. And then it was put into the Constitution at the very start. We, the people. The government is the servant. And they better start operate as servants and start following our commands. When we give a lawful command, they better start following it. We have the power to issue warrants. We retain that power. It's not clearly identified, but it says in Article 9 and 10, we retain certain rights and certain powers. And that is one of the rights and powers that we have. The right to and the power to issue a warrant against a servant that is not living up to the obligations that they're supposed to. We don't need the permission of any stinking president to do this. The president is supposed to be a servant also. But basically the office of presidency is vacated right now. We don't have a constitutional president. We have a commercial banking president, just like the local bank president. They're just nitwits. Hell, look at what we've had in there over the last 30, 40 years. Complete idiots. Only operating for the benefit of the commercial world bankers to go out and make them a profit in the corporate world. Are we any better off than what was going on in the colonies being controlled by the East India Company? No. You want to watch a halfway decent movie about the East India Company? Watch Behind the Mask. You take all your bills. They're bills of credit. I put the templates up there for the endorsement of those. Start getting those into place. Send them in. If they're state-issued items, you give them to the treasurer of the county or to the treasurer of the state. If they do not comply, then you turn around and you hit up the Attorney General's office. And if they still don't comply, then you start going to the National Treasurer through the IRS Technical Support Division and the Treasury UCC Contract Trust Division, either at your federal district level or at the national Washington, D.C. level. The squeaky wheel always gets the grease. And if you stand by the law properly and you don't step outside of that boundary, you are protected. The problem is, too many of these so-called patriots have stepped outside of the area that they were supposed to be operating in, and that's when this commercial banking system took them down. By writing bonds, by doing things that they were not supposed to do. I've told people for years, you do not have the authority to write bonds. You are not a commercially licensed bond writer. And then when you're writing a bond, you are creating a debt instrument. So stay away from that. Stay away from trying to set up anything, another type or form of government. We have the proper government. We just have to get them to do their job. To step back into the proper position. Hold them accountable. Wake the law enforcement officers up. Explain to them how this commercial banking system is screwing them over too. They have these fraudulent mortgages. They get bills of credit that they don't know how to set off. They're getting underpaid. They're getting slave wages in the process. Most of their wages are going over and being deposited into their UCC contract trust under the payment bonds. You people have to understand the documents that I put up there. Fully understand them before you utilize them. Talk it over on the groups. Start forming a group. Get a couple people in your neighborhood involved. Have them listen to a couple of these calls. Say, hey, you know there's something wrong. This guy right here might know what the hell he's talking about. Well, I do know what I'm talking about because I've been down this road so many different ways over the years. I've written more procedures out here. I worked in nuclear power. I knew the codes of law, the regulations, the federal codes of law to deal with nuclear power. I knew how to read them, interpretate them, stand up to the Nuclear Power Regulatory Commission and shut them down when basically I knew how to read the words in their regulations and said, hey, that don't apply to us. I traded commodities. I went and took the commodity broker's test. Passed it the first time out, which is a lot more than most of these commodity brokers. They take 5 or 6 times to pass the damn test, just like most bar attorneys. Most of them don't pass it the first time out. And all they are is basically a judicial contract bar attorney, commercial banking bar attorney of contracts. All these attorneys, the thing they study in college is contract law. They don't study the UCC or the codes of law. They have to go and look up half the damn codes. The cops don't even know the damn codes. They only know about 3 or 4 codes to write some tickets. That's it. And they know what the charges are for those tickets. And all those things are is a draw against the contractor's contract, the performance bond of the contract. The performance bond and the payment bonds are supposed to be the surety that are supposed to be there for our benefit as the owner of the contract to pay the bill. Nothing in the contract said anywhere that we had to pay it out of our back pocket. And nowhere in the commandments, the American commandments, does it say you need to have a driver's license contract, UCC contract. So when the bankers, these foreign bankers, got us to sign up and have a driver's license, have a certificate of title, basically what did they give us in return? They established a performance and a payment bond, but they never told us how to utilize that and set the bills of credit off when they gave us a bill of credit. So like the dummies that we are, we kept paying it out of our back pocket. And then we went downhill after Nixon basically took us off the silver standard of one Federal Reserve dollar equals one silver dollar and started floating the silver value out here to where right now it's one silver dollar equals 17 Federal Reserve dollars. So someone that was getting paid back in the early 60s or early 70s, one silver dollar of labor right now is getting paid less than 1/17 of a dollar. Working for slave wages, because all the rest of his wages are being deposited into the payment bond out here, or the construction bond. I mean, the performance bond. All of the credits in those two bonds belong to us. We've been putting those credits there. Nobody else. We're not getting something for nothing here. It's ours to begin with. The corporations have to zero their books at the end of the year. Where do they get the money from? They borrow it from us. We, the people, are the only ones that have any value in this country. The government don't have no money. The courts don't have no money. The courts don't pay the law enforcement. The courts don't pay the U.S. Marshals. Who pays them? We, the people. It's about time these damn enforcement officers start going to the proper people that are paying their damn salary. The sheriff works for us. He don't work for the judge. The people pay his salary. The state of is a derivative of the original. It's not a valid state. It's a commercial state. You go into court. If you get forced into court, you ask them, do you have a bar license? Is this a court of the United States or the state of, or is it a republic state court? I'm only bound to the Constitution if I have violated a law per the Constitution. But The Constitution doesn't apply to me. It only applies to the corporations. The commandments, known as the articles or the amendments, those are my commandments. I want to see those commandments on your wall. Now you show me which one of those commandments I have violated. They didn't need to put, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, because those are the natural commandments that were laid out by Moses. They are still valid commandments. Because this country was founded upon the Bible, the universal banking laws. But they gave the people additional commandments to protect the people in this country from the commercial bankers. When Moses set up the 10 Commandments, he tried to destroy the commercial bankers. They only were operating with the de jure banking temple initially. And then later on, the Jezebel banking temple came about. But the de jure banking temple stood over the Jezebel banking temple and shut it down several times. But these bankers, they go underground and then they pop their head back up again. Sort of like that old game of trying to beat the hell out of the damn gopher when he pops his head up in the arcade game. The only problem is we let all the gophers come up out of the hole all in one damn shot here in this country. And the people didn't have enough common sense to basically go after the right process and shut them down. Because the bankers got us involved into another war, World War I. And then Roosevelt got us involved into World War II to get the people totally off guard. The military in this country was only supposed to be there for the defense of the country, not for going overseas and fighting fucking foreign wars. All for the profits of some damn stinking banking corporation. Military complex. How many vessels in this country are sitting in the scrap heap that we paid for, that basically didn't do shit? Okay. Look over those documents that I posted up there. Listen to that one little audio I talked about, the American Commandments, that I had Tom post up on the YouTube. One thing, Tom, I want you to take those 2 videos off the e-concurrent site.
Okay, which videos?
The 2 videos that you have up there in the video file.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. I'll check with you if I need to.
Yeah, both of them are misleading. They don't say a damn thing about what I'm talking about. and they're misleading some people that are watching those damn things, and they're getting a wrong misunderstanding.
Are you talking about the videos that were posted on YouTube of this last week by?
No, I'm talking about the two that are on e-concurrent in the video folder that you have there.
I'll look at it right now.
The one from the guy, the fat guy that's sitting in a damn chair talking about executor and stuff like that. And then basically the other one about the New Zealander saying that he's out of the system. He ain't out of the system, and basically what he's talking about don't comply with what we're talking about in the UCC contract trust process. So get rid of them.
The video section. Yes, there are two videos. Oh, those Bill Turner video and how to, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That you like aspects of that before, but I guess most of it is wrong now. Okay, I will get rid of it.
Okay. It's open for questions now.
Patrick, I have a question.
Speak up.
When we get fully out of the system, everything that they've taken from us, like our children or our businesses for tax liens, do we get that restored to us?
You will have a better standing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you will be able to come in and place a claim against them in the process. Now, children really belong to the father. I hate to burst your womanly bubble in the process, but the father is the head of the estate, and they are estate property until they come of age of 21. The father is the one who is the head of the household, and he is the one that is responsible for their protection until they come out. Unless you basically get charges and he goes to jail, then the mother steps in and takes jurisdictional control. Now, did I just burst your bubble?
No, you didn't burst my bubble. Not at all. But thank you.
Okay.
Pat, I have a question, Pat.
Yeah.
Is a passport? My passport has 9 digits on the number. Would that be considered a bonded labor waging security?
It is a UCC contract trust with the Secretary of State of the nation. Okay? See, that's one of the things that Hillary Clinton basically was ripping off and putting charges in against all those passports, and then taking a service charge and putting those into her foundation. Why do you think she wanted to be Secretary of State? So that she could put a service claim in against all of those UCC contract trusts by way of the bankruptcy court system.
All right, so I can add it to my I can add that to my notice, that account.
Yes, everybody on the call can basically issue a arrest warrant for her for that violation alone, and basically state that basically she has not, in her process, the IRS needs to look at those profits that she pulled out of those passport UCC contract trust and never paid any taxes on. See, that deal with the FBI, that was the wrong agency to go to. It should have been the tax man. But the people didn't know what tax law violations she was committing.
Patrick, I have a question.
Yeah.
If you've sent out a certified copy of our non-UCC claim to the Department of Labor, and then we've noticed, the CID and all of that, and like a week or 10 days has gone by, what would you suggest to be the next move?
Basically, the Department of Labor ain't going to do anything. We've got to go to that IRS Technical Support Center and the Treasury UCC Contract Trust, just like it's called out in the first volume of Statutes at Large, 5th Congress, Session 2, Chapter 49 and 50, for a prisoner in the process. There was never supposed to be any debtor prisons in this country. Well, that was because of the commercial banking system that was set up under Alexander Hamilton.
Right. Well, what would you suggest that we just, keep doing a mailing campaign or calling them and trying to get, what actual
Well,
action?
you go to the UCC Contract Trust, and basically it's going to take probably somewhere up to 30 days because we're dealing with the bonds that are out there are government bonds, and they're either on a 15 or 30-day cycle.
Okay.
Okay? So basically they can't process a lot of that stuff out until basically those bonds get settled. They stop the process, and then basically from there, out of the Washington, D.C. office, then it goes out to either San Francisco or Cincinnati, so you get another 3 days transit, 3 days there, 3-day transit back over to your state local IRS Technical Support Center and the UCC Contract Trust, Treasury UCC Contract Trust Department, which would be your Secret Service there at the Federal District. Now, once you send it out to Washington, D.C., you can copy the local district at the same time, so that they get a heads up on the deal.
Okay.
And then basically you can turn around and you could start filing claims into your local office to get some funds from that UCC Contract Trust. Take all your receipts. Take a 1040 tax return, credit return form, and put that into your local IRS office. Say, here, I want the return of these credits against this Social Security UCC Contract Trust.
Okay, and then should we also, like I've done a couple of bills of credit and acknowledgments and endorsements, and I haven't been honored, it's been a couple of weeks, should I send them copies of that as well?
Who hasn't honored them? Did you do the proper bill of credit
Yeah, I did
process?
Properly. Yeah, I just put some car payments and phone bills and stuff like that.
And you sent them back to the CFO of the company?
Yep.
And they haven't honored them?
Nope.
Okay, is that a national phone company or is that a state phone company? It's probably licensed by the state to do business in the state. Send it to the Attorney General of the state.
Okay.
And then also I would copy it over to the IRS and say that these guys are not complying with the tax laws, the revenue laws of the nation.
Okay. And then just certified mail.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Remember that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Hi, Pat. This is Robert.
Yeah. You got a question?
Oh, not yet. I don't.
Anybody else have a question?
Yeah, Patrick, so the people in the Skype group have been working away on submitting their non-UCC forms. One of them, Donnell, said that he sent in a bill of credit to the Time Warner Cable Company. I asked him to come on the call. Are you here, Donnell? Could you talk about that? I guess he's not. Evidently, what he did is he went in there and demanded that they put him on some kind of permanent account on this. In other words, that he sent in this one bill and that would take care of it. At first, they resisted. He got to a supervisor. The supervisor said they would do that, and he also said that he added some labor payments to his Time Warner bill. Now we'll have to find out how much of this is true, and whether the supervisor was just talking to him to get him off the phone.
Yeah, if you get something back in return, but basically, for your bills there, basically, see all these contracts out here. Okay, the phone company, the state of, whatever, they are the contractor, and the contractor is the one that is obligated to have the payment and the performance bonds in place. And by your signature, you gave them a letter of credit to fund the bonds that they are writing.
Well,
you were the grantor. You were the foreign grantor to them.
Right. He said that the tone of the supervisor changed dramatically when he says, if you guys don't do this and set me up so that you send me 1099-Cs, I will be contacting IRS CIDs, and the conversation changed right away when he did that.
Yes, you used the CID. Basically, when I informed the treasurer of the state that basically I had been in communications with the CID, they basically gave me an escort around town until I left town to make sure that I did not get harmed in any way. I didn't see what was going on at first. I thought that they were just harassing me. No, they were there trying to protect me because they did not want to get in trouble with the CID.
Okay, so we have to learn how to say that.
Contractor Investigative Division, CID. That's the IRS Contractor Investigative Division. That's what CID really stands for. And see, all of these, the state of Iowa is a contractor. They're issuing these UCC contract trust. The courts, the judges, the county attorneys, they are basically in violation of not setting off these bills of credit. They never disclose in court that you've got a bill of credit. All you have to do is basically endorse it over and it's settled. They don't give you full disclosure. They turn around and throw you in jail in involuntary servitude by deception for their additional profits and gain against you. And that is a violation of the 14th Amendment, that all these patriots out here try to revoke the 14th Amendment because they did not know that it was a protective amendment. Why have I said that basically the only valid amendments are the 1st through the 15th? is because the 16th through the 27th have infringed upon the rights and the powers of the men of the country. They have destroyed our voting by giving women the right to vote, thereby basically cutting our vote capacity in half. Therefore, we've had a bunch of nitwits in the damn presidency and in all the other government offices out here, because basically all the women were voting for moral issues instead of lawful issues.
Patrick, I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What would you do if there was a warrant issued, and so I've got the non-UCC process all complete. Would you send that to the Labor Department and then to the Internal Revenue Service, or would you send that to the CEO of the clerk of the court in the county where it was issued?
You've got a warrant? Okay.
No,
Find out whether it's under court seal. Get a copy of it.
Okay.
It's not a valid warrant unless it's under a court seal and oath. Read the definition about a warrant.
Right. Well, it doesn't have a wedding signature. It's not under seal.
That doesn't need to have a wedding signature. Basically, it could be a copy, okay?
Okay.
But it better have the court seal upon it. See, that's one thing, these commercial courts, they're not going to issue a warrant with a court seal on it because they're not a valid court. Therefore, most all of their warrants are fraud.
Right. But how would you actually shut that down right now?
You get a copy of it and you turn around and you send it into the treasurer of the state and say, pay this bill.
Okay.
What is the instrument that is being charged against?
Driver's license.
Okay. Send it into the contractor, to the treasurer of the contractor. Either give it to the county treasurer and have them process it up to the state treasurer. But that's what needs to be done. The clerk of the court, they ain't going to do it.
Okay, so do we give them an original certified birth certificate that we endorse on the back?
No. You basically accept that warrant as a bill of credit.
Okay.
It's a bill of credit. That's a charging instrument.
You actually acknowledge it. You don't accept it.
Acknowledge it as
No, you acknowledge it. You don't accept it. You acknowledge it.
All right. Okay. Thanks, guys.
I have a question.
Hey, Pat, I have a question.
Yeah.
Like with Larry's case, when they didn't put charges on there, a monetary charge on those two charges, he had a warrant outstanding, and he tried to find it and couldn't find it. They just said he had a warrant out, and that's why they arrested him. But he went from quite a while trying to find that warrant, and he couldn't. Nobody could find it.
Nobody could get a copy of the warrant?
No.
You need to file a complaint.
Okay.
To the Court of Appeals.
Okay, all right.
Take it up to a tribunal court.
I don't know what a tribunal court is.
That's a court of appeals.
Three judges.
Right.
At the federal level?
Most of the court of appeals, even at the state, are supposed to be a tribunal court.
3 judges.
3 judges.
Hey, Patrick, I have a question.
Yeah.
My name's Doug. I'm fighting a case right now. Now, I haven't done the non-UCC filing or any of that yet because I've just been introduced to this and I haven't researched it and looked up all the words and terminology and stuff, so I don't know how to utilize it. That's why I'm not asking a bunch of questions about it. But I have filed the old redemption process, and I've gone and expatriated myself through registered mail to the Secretary of State, John Kerry, and expatriated all of the UCC contract trusts back into the Republic. Now, I've got a case pending, and I've done the 3 caps as far as the conditional acceptance for value. They agreed to the tort claim. They agreed to the injuries and the damages to the tune of $49,621,314. And I billed them once a month for 3 months. They haven't paid me. So now it's an accounts receivable. Now, the Secretary of State refuses to file any of my paperwork because they say that the IRS has stated that this is the type that's harassing, fraud, blah, blah, blah. So I sent them a letter saying either arrest me or file my shit. Still won't file my shit. So
they're not going to file your shit, okay?
Okay, now what I want to do is I want to foreclose on the county. I have their EIN number. I got.
You don't foreclose on the county. You've got to go after your contract. What is the charging instrument that you're in court on?
Oh, I got an information. I've got 3 misdemeanors and 2 felonies.
Against what? What is the charging instrument? The driver's license?
No, it's against the UCC contract trust account.
Which one?
The all capital letter UCC contract trust account at the Treasury.
The Social Security person?
Yeah.
Account? UCC contract trust?
Yep.
Then they've got a bill for that, a charge. You take that as a bill of credit, and you endorse it back to the treasurer of the state and set it off.
Oh no! I understand the way I understand what you're saying there, Patrick. Like I said, I'm still researching that, right? But I understand all of what you're saying in your process. I understand how you say it works and stuff. That's not what I want. I mean, I'm going to try to set it off, and I want to squash these pieces of shit. So under international law, I know for a fact that they're acting as a criminal enterprise, and since I've already noticed the judge through registered mail with the documentation.
You've got to understand, okay, you can initial a charge, like what I did with that one document that I put up there today for an arrest warrant against that magistrate judge that has a bar license.
Okay, but I want to get
they are operating in a state of insurrection. You're not going after any money in the process. You're going after...
under international law. See, I'm getting ready to go to the Hague.
You're not operating under international law.
No, they are.
They are not.
They're members of the Hague. They're members. They're signatories of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the South.
They are fucking in America right now. Okay? They're operating in insurrection here. You've got to use the fucking American laws to combat them.
No, I want to liquidate them.
What?
Now, I may be wrong, but it's my understanding under international law, if I file a complaint that alleges basically it's an international RICO, that these people are acting outside of their charter as a criminal enterprise, then they're required to liquidate them and sell their assets or whatever and pay the people that are injured or pay me off what they owe me. That's what I want. I want to squash them. I want to liquidate them. I want to stop them. Period. I want it to be done.
Well, you have your own method then.
Why can't you use the American laws here in this country?
Amen.
Because if I set it off, then
you're not setting anything off. You haven't gotten out of the system yet. You sent a bunch of shit off to John Kerry. He ain't gonna get you out of the fucking system. He's a fucking crook to begin with. Hillary was in there. She's a fucking crook.
Oh, they're all crooks.
Yes. Now, you have to understand and you have to come in the right capacity, and the only place that you can is go after with the Treasury and the Internal Revenue System in this country to have the tax man come down upon them. It's all about taxes.
Okay, so
they are not paying their taxes.
I order them to set it off. I take the charging instrument, put the stuff that you put up there, send it in, order them to set it off, and then when they don't, send it to the tax man, right?
You basically put the bill of credit in properly.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You endorse it as a bill of credit. Now, if they don't comply, if it's a state charge, okay, then it should go against the state contract, UCC contract. If it's a federal charge, then it would go against the federal UCC contract trust that's out there, and you would process that through the Treasury at the national level.
Okay, well, this is just state so far.
Then I would go to the state treasurer and say, here's my bill of credit, set it off.
Okay.
This state court issued this bill of credit. This charge.
Okay.
I'm ordering this warrant, this charge, whatever, to be set off against the state UCC contract trust.
Okay. And once
you do that with the treasurer, you've got to go where the money is at, and that's with the Treasury.
Okay. When I get done with all that, how do I squash these people?
You can turn around and file a charge against them when you know how to charge them properly. Know what fucking laws they're violating. That's what I put that document up about that magistrate judge, and I explain what laws they're violating. Article 1, Section 10 of the fucking Constitution. They have a bar license. That is a foreign title of nobility. These guys, these state courts cannot issue bills of credit. They're doing that. They cannot issue letters of marquee. They're doing that. That is mail fraud. They're issuing bills of attainder.
Bills of attainder,
yeah. Courts can't do that either. Understand that they are in total violation of that, and all of the state courts are supposed to be, all the state courts are supposed to be operating under a constitution. And the constitution of the state also is under the national constitution, so the states are under the national government. There's 3 forms of government in this country.
Right.
The federal government, that is we the people and the remaining sovereignty of the states. That is the federal government. That is the federal government. Then you have the national government, which is the constitutional governments, both for the nation and the states. Then you have this commercial, fraudulent federal government. They have come in and they've tried to claim our title away from us because we were not using our title of federal. So they are an imposter. Know that these judges are imposters. No female judge can be out there. She's an imposter.
Patrick, can I ask you another question or make a request? Since we're sending these acknowledgement bills of endorsements back to them, would it be possible for you to, I mean, it seems to really make sense that we should start asking for some money back from them for all the hardships and stuff. Can you guys think that you might be able to put a template together that we could attach, when we print it out on the back of these bills?
I would basically go in and basically just try and get the bills set off for right now. Turn around and take a copy of your birth certificate or whatever and take it up to the local IRS office and have it processed through the IRS Technical Support Division, care of the Treasury UCC Contract Trust, and try and do a draw against the payment bond against that birth certificate UCC Contract Trust.
Okay, but do we do that, just in general, or would we do that after, we've acknowledged something, a bill, and set it off, base it on that, or just...
I would just, for the bills right now, I would just go and get it set off, okay?
Okay.
Don't try and claim any money back right now. Wait and basically then let the Treasury come in and terminate those contracts, and then you will operate from now on by getting a bill from them. You will not be operating with a UCC contract trust with that phone company, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You will basically be operating on a basis that you will come in and maybe put $5,000 down or $1,000 down, and basically then with them to contact you when they need to have some extra money. You will pay as you go.
Uh-huh.
So
okay.
you can give them some payments in advance.
Right. No, that's what I do with my phone bill. Okay, so then, but going back in and asking, or presenting them with a certified copy of our birth certificate. It's not one we.
No, you don't send that into the phone company.
No, I know that. No, going back to the technical division in the IRS to try to get some funds.
Yeah.
Should wait on that too, or do you think that we should be trying that right now?
No, you can send one right in right now if you want to. If you need some funds, and basically just make it a draw against the payment bond.
Okay, so that
way you don't have to pay any taxes on it.
Right. So is that something that you might be able to put a template up, and we would put that on the back of our birth certificate?
You just take the templates that I've got up there already and modify them. You just don't put any charge in against the performance bond, and you just put the charge in against the payment bond. Just like what I've got a template up there of how I did my traffic tickets.
Okay. And then just
basically, like on the DOT, that was where I had DOT, you would put certificate of live birth in there and then put the registration number on there. And then you would put that bill of credit endorsement on the back of the birth certificate.
Okay. And then would you suggest that, if they send us whatever, a check, or should we have them deposited into our 98 bank account?
You can do it either way. If you've got not the 98 number, you need to have a Direct Express debit card or a Treasury Direct debit card or a commercial bank account and have it deposited there.
Okay. And so
I would try and get a non-interest bearing checking account with the bank. But see, in most cases, it's still going to have a FDIC contract. That bank account, that local bank account, is still going to be a UCC contract trust.
Right, I know. And so when we do this, when we do the endorsement to get some funds, we do give them a raised seal bond papered birth certificate, right?
Yes, you have to get a certified copy from the state. You don't need to take it and get it any special endorsement out of the Secretary of State or anything like that. That's all bullshit. Okay? You just get the one from the Bureau of Vital Statistics or from the county, birthing county that you're in, to get that, and it's on bank note paper, okay? But it is really a bill of credit, okay?
Okay.
You're the one that has to determine how many credits you want out against that bill.
Right. Is there some kind of mathematical equation for how much dollars, or, more
No,
money?
you don't worry about that right now.
All right. All right, well, I'm just curious. Thank you.
Patrick, I have a question. Can you hear me? Hello, Patrick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. After we do the non-UCCs and we have that all in place and we, let's say we owe money to the IRS, right, and we submit Door's bill of credit with that, is there a possibility that they can say that we cannot do that or that we have a frivolous tax admission? And if they do that, then do we go ahead and contact the CID, or what do we go about it? How do we go about that in the event that they do say that?
Now, who's saying this?
The IRS.
It's hypothetical.
Yes, hypothetical, because...
If the IRS is going to tell you this?
Yeah. Is there a possibility that they say that and hit me
It
with
all depends. If you're sending it into the UCC Contract Trust, you're sending it into the Treasury UCC Contract Trust Division, and basically they are not going to say that. We know that they've already set off bills for people when they were doing the accepted for values, but they basically only did a few. So basically, we know that UCC Contract Trust Division has to do this when you come in and you are the federal government.
Yes, I understand.
Okay?
But
they are working for you.
I know that, but it's also been, I've dealt with that because I worked with as an accountant and I know that's a different situation, but usually they would give you, if you file a tax return, regular return, and they give you, I don't know, $6,000, and then 3 years later or 2 years later they say, well, you got to prove a certain amount of things, and if you can't prove it, you got to return that money and penalties and interest. Which I understand it has nothing to do with...
that is the fraudulent IRS that is coming out and doing that because you did not totally get out of the system in the process. And you didn't know how to set off their bill when they sent you a bill, and all you had to do was accept that as a bill of credit and sign it and send it back to them.
Right. So, that was just my doubt that in the event that we have all that in place...
But when you get one like that, you turn around and you put a labor fee in on it too. Now, for them to get their money out of the payment or the performance bond, they also have to get your money out of the payment bond and send it to you. So you always put more in against it in the process. You put some labor value into it.
Yes. Yes. I also wanted to share something with you that might help someone that was not born in the United States. I asked you this a couple of months ago. I was baptized in Ecuador, right? So I just recently went to get my certificate of baptism, right? And I went to my local parish, and I befriended the parish priest there, and I asked him if, he asked me, what do you need that your baptismal certificate? And I said, well, I'm going over to the States. I'm going to get married. And he looked in the book, the original book, and in the book it said, but you already are married. You can't get married again. I said, how do you know that? He said, because, look, we've wrote it here on the actual book. So you cannot get married again. I'm like, but I'm divorced. He said, no matter. You're still married in the church. You cannot get married. So I said, well, okay, what's the next procedure? Do I take the certificate to the...
That is a moral issue, okay? Strictly a moral issue.
Okay. Got that.
Forget even asking them in the process because they're trying to control you. Okay?
I know. I understand that. But
so I don't want to talk about moral issues, okay?
Okay. I understand. So then I said to him, okay, so now this certificate is valid. no, he says you need to go to the Archbishop of the town that you're in and have them put a visum, a seal. And I said, well, what is a visum seal? Well, he said, well, it's basically a visa, a title of a visa. So I thought I found that kind of interesting that the Archbishop is going to put that visum or that seal on there. And from what I understood, and then I asked him, well, do I need to? Because I remember I asked you this question. He said, well, just come here and get rebaptized. So he said, no, you can't get rebaptized because you're already baptized. So I'm taking it as
go to a Methodist church and get baptized there.
Okay.
They're all fucking bullshit anyway.
Okay. Well, I was thinking maybe I don't need to do that because that certificate is just as valid in the States as well.
Basically, right now, just forget about the baptismal certificate. Just get this other shit going, okay? Get out of the commercial system.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
Patrick, I want to know how to figure out the steps. I'm just starting with this. Figure out the steps to get out of the system.
The best thing to do is go back and listen to about the last 5 or 6 audios.
Okay.
And go through the documents that I've got up there.
Okay.
Basically, most of them, if you go into We the People, in the first folder, file folder in We the People, most of the files are in time frame order of when they were posted. The ones that are on e-concurrent, there is no date of when the files were posted, so it's going to be a little confusing.
Okay.
Okay? But the audios on e-concurrent are basically by dates, so basically just start backtracking.
Okay.
Okay? And then try and get a couple other people and work together. Just like what you had to do in high school or in junior high, you basically, in a study hall, you basically got 3 or 4 people together and you put your heads together.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I did in the fraternity. Yeah, you bet.
Okay.
Okay, Patrick, may I ask you a question, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick. How does one clear up one's credit? Because we have a situation where the credit is not good, but every month it's like they add things to it which might not be true, but it's just making one's credit worse. And every time you try to do something like purchase a house, they look at it and say your credit is not good, etc.
You forget about that, okay? The commercial bankers are controlling you and trying to drive up the interest on you in the process. You forget about that. You go and basically try and get out of the system. Then you don't have to worry about any credit rating.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, Patrick. I didn't get the site to really go on to make sure that we can see those 5 videos that you mentioned. So could you give me that, how do we get on the site?
I'll let Tom explain that. Tom, you still on there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Explain to him how to get on e-concurrent and We the People.
Yeah, you have you joined the Yahoo group We the People shareholders?
No.
You have to do that. Go there, on the menu, hit groups, put We the People in the search box, and then that'll take you to We the People. Press the button to join, and once you join, you will get a welcome email that will direct you how to get to the e-concurrent site where all the backups are. The e-concurrent site has 2 names. One is econcurrent.com/Devine. Or you can do it by WeThePeopleShareholders.tk. They both take you to the same place.
You said Econ, E-C-O-N?
ECONCURRENT.com.
/Devine.
/Devine.
Okay, and then you say you have to join the system, huh?
You have to go to your Yahoo. The other way to do it is just Google join Yahoo group, We the People shareholders, and that should take you to the right page.
I have a question.
Thank you very much.
Okay, then ask it.
In most cases, you have to sign up with Yahoo to be able to get onto that Yahoo group.
Right. That doesn't, Patrick, right. None of that will work unless you are already a member of Yahoo. And once you're a member of Yahoo, you can get in there and join the Yahoo group.
And then you have to sign up as a member of that We the People _ shareholders group site. And basically, you just tell them how you want your email sent to you, and then basically put the little code in, and basically then you join up as a member, and then you can access the files there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
My question is, how do you get a person out of jail that was put in on contempt of court?
Purge yourself.
I don't think he knows how to do that. Is that a statement he makes or a paper he puts in?
No, I basically, in the court, basically the judge was going to try and charge me with contempt of court, and I said, you can go ahead and charge me with contempt of court, but I have the power to purge myself, so why even bother? He never brought up contempt of court again. See, it's a commercial court.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay? Yeah. And see, when you understand that you have powers over this damn court, and basically that you stand as a federal government citizen standing over both the national government and the commercial government, these fucking courts don't have jurisdiction over you. They only have jurisdiction over a fiction, a contract trust person. You're the fucking owner.
Okay. The witness to this told me that the judge says, I'm going to charge you, give you 30 days for contempt of court. He stood up and made a motion to the bailiff. The man was grabbed, put in cuffs, and the judge walked out of the room and wouldn't answer him. He tried to talk to the judge ignored him and kept on walking.
You write an arrest warrant out for that judge. Operating in insurrection against we the people of the country and the nation. They're ripping off the nation also. Not only are they harming you the people, but basically they're harming the nation. That's really an act of treason. So basically you need 2 witnesses for an act of treason. But you can go ahead and file your charge into the federal district court, to the county or to the attorney general of the state, to the treasury, basically against these damn commercial, and to the IRS. Get them all involved.
Okay, I'll
About time more people start filing arrest warrants. We have the power. Nowhere in the Constitution or anything does it say we don't have that power. It says in Article 9 and 10, we have retained certain rights and certain powers. Well, where does it say we gave the right of we can't issue a arrest warrant for a servant that is fucking us over?
Patrick?
Yeah.
Do you have a template for treason? Because I've got some witnesses on this one.
Well, basically just take that one that I put up there for that magistrate judge and just add another signature and say basically this is also I've got it addressed about insurrection on there, and just basically put down also that you're claiming that this is an act of treason, and then sign it with the two witnesses.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh. You don't need to have this notarized or anything like that.
Good.
Where does it say in the commandments, the American commandments, that you have to have anything notarized? The only place where notaries have to come in is in the corporate structure. That's why the Secretaries of State, under their constitutions, will not take a non-UCC. They can't file a federal government document. In other words, a private document. And don't be afraid to send any information out to these law enforcement officers about the damn, here, read what it says in the Constitution. Read what it says about the amendments. More than likely, half of them have never read the damn thing. Put it in the front of their face. Say, you might want to read this fucking document so you know what the fuck you're doing. Who pays your fucking bill? It certainly ain't that fucking judge that you are kissing ass on.
How about the county attorney? Can you do the same thing to him?
I submitted one in against my county attorney too, yes.
Okay.
I submitted 3 into against one district judge, against the magistrate judge, and against the county attorney. The district judge for basically issuing a warrant for search and seizure, dragging me out of my house about 3 or 4 years ago, under no court seal. They have sent people out, law enforcement, sheriff's officers, police officers, out to arrest somebody. The police officer gets shot in the process, killed. The arrest warrant had no court seal. Should those judges be charged with basically manslaughter? Yes. Because they were complicit in the death of that deputy. Because they did not have a valid warrant to be serving on that person to begin with. See how these corporate commercial judges operate? And they think their shit don't stink. Well, I'll tell you, it stinks twice as bad as yours. Because they're rotten to the core.
Yes, they are.
%90 of the prisoners in this country are in there on commercial debt charges, being utilized as debt slave servitude for the profit of these commercial bar attorneys and corporations. It is just as bad as the East India Company that basically our forefathers tried to run out of this country.
Patrick, could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Let's say you wanted to buy a house or a piece of property and you want to use that endorsement, who would be the contractor? Or who would you,
property?
Yeah, who would the payment bond be against?
You would turn around and take your birth certificate and turn around and get the purchase document for that property, just like getting a window sticker for a vehicle. And you would, let's see, under the window sticker, the Ford Motor Company or whoever basically has a UCC contract trust for the construction of that vehicle. Now, you basically want to buy a house, you turn around and you take your birth certificate and you put in a claim against the performance bond of that UCC contract trust and send it into the IRS Technical Support Division, care of the Treasury UCC Contract Trust Division in Washington, D.C., and have them issue the payment to whoever. You do not register that house with a certificate of title. Because if you register that house and get a state certificate of title, basically then the state is going to create a contract trust against that property. A UCC contract trust.
Okay.
Then you only, when you don't have it registered with the state, then the only thing you have to pay is you go in and you want fire protection services, you want police protection services, you want road services, you go and you subcontract individually with those people on a yearly payment.
Okay. Now, would
If you don't have any kids in school, you don't have to pay the school property tax.
Right. Would you send in the birth certificate or just the number?
No, you send in a certified copy of the birth certificate, one that you get from the state. That is your bill of credit to make the payment.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
I've got a good question for you, Pat. What if a person has a name change? It's my understanding that the birth certificate is used in I talked to a county person about this, and they said, well, we remove the name off of the rolls if the person's name has changed, and then it goes into some other department.
You've got to go into the Bureau of Vital Statistics and make sure that the name has been properly changed for that initial document. Why the fuck you change your name? Weren't you happy with what your parents gave to you? Are you dishonoring your parents? What the hell?
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that later.
Now, if it was by adoption, then basically you've got a court order. And all you have to do is process that in against that birth certificate in the records. And basically that number should stay the same, but basically it should be rolled over under the new name.
Okay.
Okay? Simple. Ask and you shall receive. Go and talk to them.
All right.
That's one of the simple things. I know of people that basically have gone and done that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Patrick, along those same lines, what about someone who is a naturalized citizen? Do you have any information?
If you're a naturalized citizen, then you have a naturalized UCC contract trust.
Which functions in the same way as the birth certificate.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you had to have a court name change authorization if you changed your name or something.
And I guess what that previous caller was talking about is like a female. You got married, so the name changed.
Yeah, you go and basically talk to the immigration department and then also to the federal court about your name process, okay?
Okay.
That's where you need to go, not to me, okay? You need to talk to them. How do I straighten this problem out? See, these things are simple. You just have to think about them. Okay? They've got offices out there that basically will take care of some of the problems you guys think are insurmountable. Then they're not. You just have been scared to go and talk to these people and ask the question. If you don't ask, you'll never find out the answer. Okay, anybody else?
Well, Patrick, if you have somebody who is in jail and, I mean, you know, sentenced to years in prison, what is the best process?
You take care of yourself first, okay?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
You take care of yourself. You get out of the system first. When you get yourself out, then basically you'll have a better understanding of how to help them.
Okay.
Okay?
Got your step one.
I will be putting some few documents up there in that regards, okay?
All right, thanks.
But you need to take care of yourself first. You can't help anybody until you get your feet on the ground. Like I said before, the national government is the constitution of the nation and the state. Therefore, all of the statutes are for the national government. Therefore, the Expatriation Act is when a federal government citizen demands his right to expatriate away from the foreign commercial government. Now, per the statute, the national government has to also come in and aid in the process of getting you away from that foreign commercial government. But you have to understand the 3 layers of government in this country right now. And you have to approach them in that proper capacity. Even when you go to a federal judge, an Article 3 federal judge, you tell him, which fucking system are you operating in? Are you operating under your bar license, or are you operating under the national government constitution out here? Now, do your fucking job if you're going to operate. Otherwise, vacate the office. I sent that wording right up to that chief judge. I'm not afraid to basically call these servants upon the carpet. What can they do? Throw me in jail for telling the fucking truth? They definitely ain't going to haul me into court because they don't want anybody else to hear this shit. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Call tonight, Tom.
Thank you. I
Okay.
took care of the
Good night.
I took care of the videos right after we talked about it.